Hello, Connie, can you hear me?
Yes,
Good
we
morning.
can.
I can
Can
hear
I
you.
start?
Yes, you can. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so good morning. My name is Lawal Sofiyat Olabisi. So today's topic is UI design and user psychology. So I'll be taking us through the user interface, that's the UI, the visual design, the interaction design, information architecture, responsive design, user psychology, connective process, emotion and affects, and motivation and engagement and behavioral patterns. So these are the things I'll be taking us through during these courses. So UI design and user interface. We've come across it and we've heard about it before. So I'll just say what it is again. So UI is just how your design looks. Is the part where design the layout, and with this illustration that we are seeing here is a design pattern. So it's just that what is different with UI what is called okay user experience, that's UI experience, is that um the UI experience is the background, is the back end where the research comes in and everything. So after the research has been done and everything has been laid out, we've done the structure of how it look, the wireframe and the like. So this is the UI design now comes in and design what the research is all about. So, and it can be in form of a mobile app. This is a mobile version. It can also be in terms of a website. So, and also when you are doing UI design, you don't need to only focus on the way it looks. Fine. So it must be in function, like in terms of the buttons. If I click on this button, I have to get to where I'm going to. That way it function. Also, it also needs to be um user needs to be able to navigate easily to your website or your mobile. So yeah, so that is just what the UI is all about. Just the design that we did, and just to make it function for user to use. So what is visual design? So this aspect of visual design is just in terms of using the graphic system. Like now, what are the things that your design need to have? Don't forget, this is a design. In this design, there is something that you need to put there to make it appealing, to make it look good to your user. So that are the things I'll be discussing in this visual design. So now from this illustration, I like using illustration to explain more. So in terms of, there are two types of principles in graphics terms. So we have, and all those tools is combined. That's why I'm using that way to explain. So we have the elements, we have the foundation or fundamental, yeah. So this element is the ones that has size, the ones that has color, the ones that has texture, the ones that has shape. Those are the elements of design. So because of the hard element and the fundamental to this visual design principles, the fundamental is the contrast, the alignment, repetition, proximity, white space, hierarchy, and the likes. So these are the things that you need to put in your design. In terms of color, you need to know the color that will go well with your, maybe you are working for a brand and there's a particular color this brand has, you have to work with that. In terms of using contrast, if you see this example here now, you see that this is a black color and this is white. Because they are different color, that is what it's called contrast. So these are the things that we need to put in our designs. the alignment, you need to align your work very well so that your user, when they are seeing your design, they'll be like, wow, this is well aligned. So, and also repetition too. Maybe it's you use one font or three, you have to repeat that font throughout your design and proximity, things that are really related to each other, you need to put them together, and that's the meaning of proximity. Then maybe we've heard about white space. It's also called negative space. So just like with this illustration now, we have white space here. This is what we call white space. All this space, white space. Even though with this example given to us, you see that there is also white space in between. So and texture, just like when you want to use your, mostly this texture they use it for background, when you want to use it for background, or maybe you want to use it for some image, yeah, maybe image or something. Mostly they use texture for background, yeah. Anyway, so now just tell us what it is. I've explained what the visual design is. So the goal is to create a cohesive and aesthetic pleasing design that reflects the brand identity. When I talk about your brand identity and enhance user engagement. Also, because you doing having UI, let's say app, and you want to do websites, there's a reason for you doing that. You want users to engage on your website, you want them to come to your website, you want them to stay longer. So this is where the this thing is, yeah. So another thing we need to know also is interaction design. What is interaction design? Okay, so interaction is just like if I click on this button, if I click on this button, it will take me to this place. That way I'll be able to interact with your website, with your mobile app. If I click on this sign in, I should be able to get to another screen. That way I'm able to navigate easily to your app. If I click on this, if I back, I should be able. So these are the interactions that we have. And so interaction is with how user interacts with the interface. It also include the okay button. If I click on this menu and everything, it will lead me to one screens. And also interaction design also involve considering usability principles and to make the interface easy to learn and use. So now if I click on a particular what do I call it? If I click on maybe the any this thing now and it's not going, you understand, it's not going to where I want it to go to. That means that way there's the interaction did not work very well for me. So that way you have to also let your user be able to move easily with your app or with your website that way. And there are some, this is just a minor with this illustration that is just a minor interaction. So if you see some interaction like this, like wow, this is designer that did it. So just to explain what it is. And we have information architecture. Yeah, so information architecture is just this process. This information architecture is doing the process of user experience. That's US experience this thing. So when you are um, trying to start your design, you need to do all this information architecture so that you know how your app, your website to be structured, to know how it will be organized, okay, to know how, okay, this is the label, this is how it should be, this is the sections, this is the next screen, these are the things that will be in the next. So these are just for your easily now, because when you do not do it, you'll be like, is that time doing, if you did not do this thing down, it's sorry, is that time that you not be like, okay, let me try to look for, okay, these are the things that will be there. But when you have information architecture down, it is that information architecture that you'll be following, that you'll be using for your website, for your app. You know the next sections, you know the next screen, you know the next page. If it's website, you know the next page, you know what it will be on the screens, on the sections, parts. These are the things I want to. So that way you've already structured them. And information architecture involves organizing, structuring content within the information interface, yeah, in a way that is easy to navigate. Don't forget that it is not only your sections or content will be in this your website, content will be in your mobile. All those content, just know the things that will be there. So you can structure it very well because content work with design pattern. Your content may be like this, and your the way your content will look is how your section or your layout will be. You understand? So that is where you have to know, okay, you have to have a content, you have to know how to structure them very well. Let it be ready before you start going to design. This is where the part of the UX experience comes in. So another thing that we need to also take note is responsive design. I'm using my system now to do this thing. If I want to use my mobile, I should have what I have on my website, on my system. I should also have it in my mobile, maybe tablet or so. I should also have it and looking the same way it is on the website. And also, thing that we need to know is sometimes your design, your website may be on your mobile, fine, but the way it is structured on your mobile may not be accurate. So that way you need to redesign that mobile so that it will form that responsive interface, so that it will be able to respond very well with your mobile that you're using at that time. And also, before I can open my laptop, I use my, okay, I use mostly phone. So that is why you have to have websites, and if you are working with my website, you have to also have for mobile version too. So that way it will not be like I have to be going up and down to open my laptop before I could get to where I'm going to. So in nutshell, let me just explain. I've explained what it is there. So UI design also include creating responsive design that adapt to different screens. So adapting to different screens, I've already explained that part of adapting to different screens. It may adapt to different screens, but when I use my mobile, it is not well aligned. So that way, the designer will have already done that part so to make it adapt very well to the user, because you know that the laptop is wider than the mobile. So that we have to design that part too. And also design responsive design ensure that interfaces are accessible and functional across various platforms. So you have to make your if I'm clicking to this and that, it must be easy for me to navigate through. That's the users. So I'm using my users. So now the next thing is user psychology. So from what we know about psychology, just like okay, understanding our mind, behavior, user mind, and likes. So now it's just same thing. So what is user psychology? User psychology is just how to your user think, feel, behave when interacting with your digital products or service. So there is a part in the UX design, that's the user experience part, before the UI comes in, the UI design comes in. There's something called empathy map. That empathy map, the reason I used to say should do this empathy map, is because you want to understand your user very well. You want to know how they feel. You want to know how they are thinking at that moment. You want to know their reactions towards your question that you're asking them, because that questions, the data they give you is what you use to do your website. You use to do your mobile. So that is where the I just try to ship in that partial. So that is what user experience, just to understand and let them know what they are feeling at that time. So and it's involve understanding user connective process. These are the things I will be discussing under user psychology, emotion, motivation, and behavior to the design that meets the need effectively. So these are the things I'll just be discussing in the next session. Yeah. So this is connective process. Yeah. So now I want to, like I said, that what psychology is, I need to understand how your user do react and everything, make that decision. You want to solve the problems to your user, you need to know how they feel, because there are some challenges that they'll have that because of you want to know them very well, you have to meet them. So you have to understand their problems so that you can able to solve that problem for them. And designer use this knowledge to create interface that supports user connective ability and the mental model. So the component just like now the memories, attention, all those things, language, the executive functions, all these are the things that okay, the connective process, you need to just understand, let them know, put yourself just then listen to them, just to understand them very well. So and also because we want to know more things about our user, needs to just um so that you not be like, okay, this thing, no, I don't really get it. So you have to just put yourself in your user's shoes. So another thing is emotion and affect. I'm a user now that want to go to your website for the first time. Is the way your website looks that will give that your user the emotions. Maybe it is when they check the website, it is okay, good looking. Their reaction will determine, because there's something called usability testing. You want to understand, you want to know how they feel, you want them to be able to interact, you want them to be able to give you feedback concerning your website, your mobile. So the way they feel, you'll see that process when you are doing that usability testing. And also on the designer aim to evoke positive emotions, like okay, this is it is certified based on your user this thing. It's maybe they trust that design, maybe okay through the like I said that there are different kind of interaction. So this is the micro interaction. That micro interaction is very well like the way your this thing will be spilling up, maybe flipping or like these are the micro interactions. And also the feedback that you also get. These are the things that okay, the way your user interact with that your website, the way maybe when they were checking it, it was your website got them laughing or something. The way they interact, the emotions they bring to your website, it is what the emotion that we have here. And another thing is motivation and engagement. So now understand that users' motivations and goals is crucial in designing interface that motivates your user to engage with your products. I've said this earlier on that you're not designing a website just for designing sake. You want your user to come, you want your user to engage, you want your user to stay longer on your website. So what are the things that will motivate them to just stay? So this part now, we have positive motivation, valuing what are, okay, I'm coming to your, okay, user coming to your design, to your website, and are they seeing what they want? Are they satisfied? It depends on the kind of user that, that you do it for sure anyway. So another thing is positive engagement. What are the things that, okay, the why they are engaging on your website? So normally for a designer to do any design, there are some people that you need to design for. This particular website is for so people. These are the people that will stay longer. Normal, that one is sure. People that you don't design for, they will not stay longer. Just check it and go. Understand? So we also have negative engagement. We have negative motivations. So as we have positive, we also have negative. So user psychology and explore factors that, okay, maybe the way your users are getting that this thing, or the way your your website is it for game, or is it, or the behavior psychology or designs, or is it maybe are they really engaging on your website? These are the things that, okay, before you can just go into it, you have to know, okay, I want, because now there's no how you will not want your users to engage on your business, so you have to know how to, in that way, so just to motivate them. Let your one thing that makes users stay longer is this, the way your website looks, the structure. Is it appealing to them? Is it functioning? Is it the content also? Too much content in websites does not make it feel like, so you have to reduce your content also, so that, and when you are using content, let it be the content that will catch them, so they will stay longer. Yeah, another thing is the behavioral pattern. So user psychology study your user behavior pattern, and there are different kind of behavior that user can just um the user can just behave or something. So these include analyzing user habits, variance, and decision making process to design interface that align with the user behaviors and expectation. So now you want to design for this aspect, is just more of user you understanding your user and giving them what they want. So the way we interpret our the way we see website, the way we interpret it is different. The way the state, maybe template method, the strategy, the observer. So all these are the behaviors that design patterns is, the moderators, okay, visitors, all these things are just the pattern that, okay, maybe your user will stay longer in your website or something. So this pattern will just um be the ones that, okay, your user will just do, because you will not know unless you have this usability testing. You will not know how your user um engage on your this thing. You don't know how, you don't know the way they are interacting. Maybe you don't know how they really like that website unless you do testing, unless you move closer to them, and that moving closer to them after your website has been done is doing usability testing, just to let them know, okay, this is the way. So you know the way some people interpret your website. You know, based on this testing that you've done, this feedback that you want to receive. And that is why we see now that, for a good example now, WhatsApp has been giving us different features and everything. It's based on okay feedback that their user are giving them. Some people will redesign WhatsApp app just to make it better, and all these things they're just listening and they are checking. So another day you can just another thing else that they'll just say, okay, this thing it will work and this and that. So we need to know how to move closer to our users, to know how they behave, their behavior towards our website and mobile app. So in summary, combining UI design principles with insights from user psychology results in interface that are not only aesthetically pleasing but also intuitive, engaging, and user-centric. So that's trying to just like understanding your users. So that is the part where I'll be stopping for today. Thank you. Thank you for listening. So if you have any questions, you can ask.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It's actually very, very wonderful. So please, if we have questions, can we ask just like she has said?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Victoria. Good morning, Sofiyat. That was a one presentation. I believe we have a lot of potentials here in Bingham. So, Sofiyat, thank you once again for that presentation. I have a question. Now, as a UI designer, okay, let me say probably you got into an apartment and unpacking in, you found out that your neighbor is a man and he's married for about 4 years. Then on close observation, you found out that the man's wife has that kind of hot temper, should I say anger issue. She gets angry easily. I know the best solution to this is in kind of maybe going for a therapy or maybe watching videos. But in terms of psychology, emotions, and how the users behave, is there any design approach one can take to design for those that have anger issue? You, for instance, would notice that your neighbor has this kind of anger issue. Is there any design principle one can use to approach such design?
Can I go ahead? Sorry, I'm talking. Hello, can you see me, please?
Yes, I
we
can.
can. Yeah.
All right. So when I was in the beginning of my presentation, I said there's something called US design. That's user experience. These are the people that do all these things. You have to do research. It's not only that person that we be in that position. So, but you need to understand them by moving to them, asking them questions, what's trigger them, why did they behave that way and the likes. You are getting your research, you are piling up your data so that you will know if you have a better solution for them in that space. It's not only her that you or him or that you actually do that for. So you have to look for this is where you don't do survey in this part. Because if you do survey, like sending like you see all the survey that will say okay, help us to fill online. No, you have to go and meet those people so that you get the vital data. So because this one is a particular people that this one is referring to, not every but not general. So that way when you get your data, then you able to that time already have the features that we help them. Is it normal? This is medical now. So it is you are doing for a medical this thing. So that way now doctor will comes in and everything, you get your features, you know what you want to work with. So this is what you will do. You have to do research so that you can give them you can understand them better and you can find a solution to that problem that way.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
never knew
Thank
about it. I was in kind of asking if such situations come up. I
you.
was even that going to them and maybe asking them questions or what triggers them for doing that. So I was kind of making joke out of it that if one should go for such research, the person should be going with an helmet because if someone has anger issue, you might got
Mhm.
slap at or maybe something else. All right, thank you very much,
Okay.
Sophie.
But you know the kind of question you ask. You don't ask that person. It may not be you that will do it because you know that person. Because and you don't want that person to feel that because of that we are trying to do some this thing. You understand? So you to be someone that that person did not know. You don't need to go with them. That person will only do their job and they'll get that in their details. So,
No.
and there are some questions that they will ask that will not be like is to them. Normally, it's users, no. But because you know it, and you know, in the way we think, you may feel because of that, we are trying to do some experiments on them, you understand? So that's why I said that. One.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sophia.
So,
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. I noticed that you had questions, but time has gone. Do we have such your questions? Hello, did you hear me?
are you asking me a question?
I said I noticed that you have questions. Your slides have questions, but you didn't ask. Although time has
Okay,
gone.
so you want me to ask the question, Abby?
Yeah, just you, then maybe 2 minutes, then we'll end it and keep it for today.
Okay. So I'll just say that based on what I've just explained, I'm not using that one, sure, anyway. So based on what I've just explained, I just want someone to just to his or her own understanding what he or she know about this topic, the UI and user psychology. Just brief.
Okay, can I go on?
Yeah, sure, you can.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. What I do understand about user design psychology from your explanation is that I could see that this aspect of should I call it software development also is very important, or this aspect of bringing a product or services to our user is very important because user interface basically entails building appealing or responsive designs that can help our users to interact with our website and information on our website basically. And the psychology part was very interesting for me because I used to think that user interface is just about building the design and that was all, but it went deeper than that. Understanding how they think, how they behave, how they interact with those particular uh, with your interface, it goes a long way. So I would say that user interface and psychology is important because you can have a lot of functionality on your website, but if the interface is not appealing, it won't even make your user to even interact with it. So that's from my end. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Um, Once again, thank you, Sophia. From the topic you've covered about user interface, like he said, security of our application matters a lot, but like they say, first impression as well matters a lot. Visiting a website and seeing how intuitive and aesthetic it is, you will be in kind of have that zeal to explore more concerning that website. And then from your presentation, I understood that it's not just making a design, but making a design that users would like to interact with. Creating a design that will make that particular product to attract more users and have some interactivity in the app. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, so thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for the presentation. We appreciate it. Do have a productive day, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, everyone.